As Travel Television completes its 5th year, we stop to reflect about the many wonderful nonprofit groups we have worked with and who have told us their stories, thereby encouraging additional volunteerism while informing our audience. This month, we present some of the organizations that we have highlighted over the years.
GlobalWare operates in 15 countries, but we have 17 programs, and one of them includes a program working with really needy children. A volunteer with GlobalWare typically signs up between 2 to 6 months before their desired program date. They're often traveling over a holiday like 4th of July or Thanksgiving or Martin Luther King Day. They arrive with 9 other volunteers, often I would say about half the time people travel with someone else they already know, and the other half they just show up by themselves. They arrive on a Saturday and they work about 35 to 38 hours a week on a project, and it varies by location. There are 15 countries where we work, 17 different programs, and in Cambodia we assemble wheelchairs for landmine victims. In Peru we build Adobe Larena stoves. In Ghana, we build schools. In Vietnam, we build homes. So every program is very different, and they want it very tightly organized. They want to have a tangible project at the end of it that they can look at. They want to be able to interact with the community in a meaningful way. They want their leisure time organized. And then there's usually 3 to 4 planned but optional cultural excursions. So in Costa Rica, we'll have a coffee tasting, a waterfall hike. We go and see the bats, any of the local wonders to see. So we really try and have all of it incorporated into the week in the program. And we take a lot of our meals with the local families when we can find a way to do it that's healthy and good for the community. So that's what a typical week is like on our programs. And Concrete Pictures did a 10-part series, 10 one-hour episodes on our program there. We are working with deaf orphans.
We normally bring people down here for 1 week at a time. This time, since we're here for longer, we've decided to tackle 8 different projects, one for each volunteer.
The project Jimbo and I worked on was to close the garbage area. Very crude, tough circumstances.
You are the reason we are building a wall.
There's so much that we need to do here.
The volunteers are just ordinary people that are willing to give up their time and their love and do something special with it.
The pressure to be a group is extraordinary. We all come from all over, and we have different ages, races, backgrounds, job skills, and personal experiences.
I would like to walk away from the trip knowing that I gave these kids a little bit of hope.
At this stage, I don't think they quite realize how difficult it's going to be and how many problems we're going to run into.
It's going to take forever.
This is stupid. It means we have to redo everything. It cracks me up, some of the shit that you guys do here.
For the longest time, there's been a bit of a power struggle.
I came to the conclusion that part of the group lost their focus as to why they were here.
In watching the children open their presents, some of them didn't even know how to open a present. I mean, can you imagine a child never having a present wrapped and given to them?
You grow attached to these kids and you want so much to protect them in every way. And you can't imagine your life without them.
It's going to be real hard to say goodbye to the volunteers, strangers who have now become my good friends.
I know for certain that many people go home realizing how rich their lives are.
joy. It's pure joy.
Working in 7 countries in Latin America, Africa, and Asia, Pro World Services Corp. has facilitated cross-cultural experiences for Americans within foreign communities. The organization was founded by Richard Webb, a 2010 Citizen Diplomat Awardee.
And I'm honored and humbled to be here as one of the honorees of the Citizen Diplomacy Awards this year.
Webb believes that every individual citizen is capable of cultivating goodwill while engaging in and financing small-scale developmental projects. His nonprofit has been self-financing projects in the communities they support. Travel Television recently spoke with Richard Webb to learn more about Pro World.
And how many physicians total?
Physician in 4.
4?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I was born in Peru, and as a child I traveled with my father, who was a development economist, throughout Peru and visited many poor communities, and became very interested in those communities and the work that could be done there. I've been running it now for 10 years. We do lots of small-scale development in 7 different countries around the world. We fundamentally match interests of Americans to participate in small-scale development projects in different parts of the world. We match that interest with the needs of local communities in these places. The volunteers do many different types of things. We know that many volunteers do not come with skills that are necessarily applicable to the work that they're going to do in the field. We imagine them mostly being there as part of an educational experience. Our role is to offer them the opportunity to connect to that work. And the projects they get involved in can range from tree planting to school building to the installation of ceramic water filters. There are lots of social service projects that we run. We run a few women's shelters as well. A wide variety of projects. We work very hard to make sure that the projects are not dependent on the volunteers. Projects need to survive with the collaboration of the local community partners. So the volunteers come and participate in sort of a hands-on way, in ways that they're learning from the culture and the experience as they go, but also helping fund and advance the project.
Help London stay green. The London Wildlife Trust does important and good work in London, such as building burrows for the local hedgehog population and keeping the banks of the Thames clean. Very few vacationers help out, so volunteers are paired with actual Londoners, which is a special treat. Wildlife and green space in London is under pressure from climate change and urban development. Important species and habitats need to be protected and enhanced. No sector operating alone can tackle these increasingly urgent issues, but by working together, volunteers have a real opportunity to make a difference. The Trust organizes team days for groups of volunteers so that they can be a part of an ongoing partnership with or a one-off event, but either way, the benefits are mutual. Volunteer tasks vary according to season, but are always tailored to suit the interests of the volunteers and their skill sets. Popular activities include hedge planting, bird and bat box creation, habitat enhancements, tree coppicing, bulb planting, building stag beetle loggeries, pond clearing, and meadow raking. HSBC volunteers worked tirelessly to revitalize a special acid grassland nature reserve in Lewisham, New Crossgate cutting. Currently closed to the public, with HSBC's help, there are now pathways, steps, and fencing improving the accessibility of the site. Interested potential volunteers are urged to contact Claire Reynolds at creynolds@wildlondon.org.uk. You'll cross the pond and come back feeling like you gave some good old American know-how and elbow grease to our original founding fathers. Cheerio!
It started, what it stands for.
Okay, All Hands Volunteers is an organization that was incorporated the weekend of Katrina, so 5 years ago, September of 2005. The model developed in Thailand, where I went alone as a volunteer after the tsunami, And we've created an unusual model that focuses on bringing volunteers together after major natural disasters. We create a platform that allows people to come pay their own way, but we then don't charge them, and they can stay with us for a day or 6 months. But the work after a natural disaster is flexible and challenging, and our living conditions, because we're in a disaster zone, are often quite challenging. Right now, our major project is in Haiti. We've been there since February 15th. We announced the opening of the project. We landed in Haiti on January 19th. Took several weeks to establish a base, to decide we would do a project. All of our communication is through our website, which is hands.org. And we announced that we're going to have a project. We allow people to interact, give extensive information about the environment they'll be in, the kind of work we'll do, and people can then fill out information there to determine whether they're qualified for a spot that we might have. We have about 100 people at our base today in Haiti, doing a variety of tasks, from building schools, which is straightforward but can use volunteers with skills in that area, or clearing rubble, which is teams of 20 people and sledgehammers and shovels and wheelbarrows, just creating sites for people to put transitional shelters because the damage in Haiti is really horrific.
Now, is there any costs that the volunteers have to incur when they do sign up?
The volunteers are required to pay their own cost to get to the project, and we don't charge for people at the project. We raise money privately to fund their housing and food and travel within, to get to the projects, equipment, and we have a core staff that provide continuity from our efforts, so that we're very productive, I think very well managed, but we don't have a per day charge for volunteers. But we do expect the volunteers are going to work hard, and they do. It's a very engaged group. So far in Haiti, as of October 1, we've had about almost 700 volunteers to date in Haiti from 30 different countries. So people find us over the web, pay their own way to get there, and then find they become part of a community that's very focused on helping the people of Haiti and very organized to do whatever is most appropriate in that week of the recovery from the disaster.
What's your vision for the future of All Hands Volunteers?
Well, we're only 5 years old, and I think we've made tremendous strides. We've done now 14 projects in countries around the world. Haiti is our largest and longest ever project. We've made the decision to commit to being there all through 2011, so where our normal model was 6 months, this one will be at least 24 months, quite different. And we're getting involved in new things like economic development. My vision would be that we would have projects available for people to volunteer at in different geographic zones, like within the US, Asia, Africa, and Latin America, the Caribbean, so that individuals or groups of individuals who want to volunteer, particularly in this challenging time after a disaster, would be able to go to our website and see an opportunity to schedule their time. We're working toward that. Haiti's the first time we've had that extended visibility of more than 6 months, in this case almost 12 months out. But a vision for me would be to be able to make certain the opportunities for people to work, because individuals who get involved after a disaster find that they contribute in 3 ways. The physical things we do, like building a school, the message to a community that someone cared enough to interrupt their life to come and help. And it's a tremendous value to the volunteer to be directly engaged with helping a community, and to feel the benefit of that direct interaction is very powerful.
Can individual people go to your website and donate, and how does that work?
Of course, we'd love to have individuals go, and if they accept that they believe this model is an extremely effective way to help victims of a disaster, we encourage people to donate through our website. It's a source of information for donors or for volunteers or anybody who's just interested in what we do.
Great.
So that's been the way we've been funded in our first 5 years. We expect in Haiti that we'll receive some additional levels of funding to do vocational training, or maybe pay some of the costs of equipment to accelerate rubble removal. But to date, we've been a privately funded organization, and we expect that will be our primary source of funding.
I mean, I think what you're doing is great, and I wish all the best of luck to you. And again, this is David Campbell, the founder of All Hands Volunteers. The website is www.hands.org. David, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Kevin.
Sure.
I'm here with Heather Sable from the American Hiking Society, which offers volunteer vacations in the United States. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Volunteer Vacations is a program of the American Hiking Society, and basically what they are opportunities to go out for a week-long trail project and do trail maintenance. Basically, you can do anything from, say, rebuilding trails and building bridges to removing invasive species, and there's no skill required to go on a volunteer vacation. Basically, you sign up for a trip, and they're approximately about a week long, and you go out with a group of other people. You go into some of the most beautiful locations around the country, and you give back by doing trail maintenance volunteer projects, and get to meet great people and enjoy a beautiful location.
And what kind of groups do this? Are they college groups, families?
We have trips that are family friendly. We also have trips that are actually alternative spring break trips, which colleges can sign up for as well. And then you can go as an individual. So there's a lot of different opportunities. So the family friendly trips are noted, and they can often be from ages 12 and up. And then we have other trips that are appropriate for ages 18 and up. So there's definitely a variety based on your skill level and what your interests are.
And can the volunteers get involved in any kind of adventures or exploration while they're doing a trip?
Absolutely. So you'll go out and you'll do a lot of hard work and do trail maintenance and give back to the trails, but then we also want you to be able to explore the area while you're there. So a lot of people will either spend the day, if they're in a new park, you might spend the day doing a hike or doing maybe a mule ride into the Grand Canyon if that's your trip that you choose, or you might even spend a night backpacking. If you're near a big city, then maybe you want to spend the day and go in and explore and do some touristy things in the city, so that's an opportunity as well. So it's a wide variety depending on the trip you choose and what your interests are, and then you can work with your group to figure out what is the best project or what's the best free time activity that you can do together. Or you can go on your own and do whatever trip suits you the best.
Wonderful. And how could you get involved? How could you sign up?
So you would want to become a member of American Hiking Society, and once you become a member, then you can choose any trip that you would like. This year, we would have approximately 75 trips around the country in probably about 30 to 35 states, and that ranges all the way from Alaska down to Hawaii and the Virgin Islands and everywhere in between, some of the most beautiful locations around the country. So you can sign up for a trip and see what the availability is. Most of them happen throughout the spring, summer, and the fall, just to give you an idea, although there are some on either end of that as well. So, so you sign up, use $250 approximately to go on a vacation. That covers your food and your lodging. Your lodging can be anything from actually an inside cabin or to primitive camping. So, so we say lodging, and that's your determination based on what your interest is and what your experience is with backpacking. So you sign up for that, you choose the trip where your location is, you find the one that best meets your needs as far as the type of lodging and your skill level, and then you're off. So it's pretty simple. One of the most economic trips, volunteer opportunities in the country, and we make it very simple and easy for you. So there's a very wide range that spreads the entire country.
Great. Travel Television here with the American Hiking Society with Volunteer Vacations. Halambu is an area of the Himalayas near the Tibetan border and also the name of a project for volunteers. The Halambu project offers opportunities for individuals to live for 1 month with a host family. Volunteers experience an immersion in Nepali culture as they become an extended member of their host family. Travel Television spoke with Executive Director Bo Miller. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I would like to get a little bit of information about the Halambu project, what you do and what the background is and the origins a little bit.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, so Halambu project actually started in Scotland, but my involvement came during my first visit to Nepal, where I was volunteering in a school in Kathmandu. And I met a man who invited me up to his village in the Halambu region of Nepal, which is just north of Kathmandu. And it's very different up there, no roads or electricity. And one of the things I was struck by was how beautiful the region was and how hospitable the people were, but also how great the demand and the desire for education was. And so when I returned to Kathmandu and went back to teaching in the city, it really became quite clear to me that the need was far greater in these villages, as well as the desire for education.
Great. What sort of projects do you work on?
We work mostly on community-level healthcare and education projects. So we place international volunteers in local schools, And we also do a variety of healthcare projects. We do first aid trainings with local students and villagers. And we also organize what are called health camps, which is when we have teams of medical professionals working with Nepali translators and also local staff to kind of go village to village and diagnose and treat sick and injured villagers, because there are really no health facilities up there, so we bring the healthcare to them.
That sounds like a great program and fulfilling a great need as well.
Oh, absolutely. There are just no real facilities for healthcare, and what you see are people with broken bones that don't get set, women who give birth in very austere conditions without a medical professional to accompany them on their birth. So. One project in particular that we're working on is a girls' empowerment and education program, which combines education on basically girls' health and hygiene, but also gives training in leadership skills like, for example, public speaking and organizational skills.
What makes your organization special?
I would say it's the kind of the exchange of ideas and culture that takes place between our volunteers and host families. So we work in communities on education and healthcare projects, but our volunteers live with host families in the communities where they're working. So they're living like they do, they're eating their food, sharing their living space, and the experiences that they walk away with are things that they're never going to forget, and they'll carry with them wherever they go for the rest of their lives.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Really grateful to be here.
All right. I'm Carrie Keenan for Travel Television. To create compassionate and global leaders of tomorrow, Global Citizen Year provides a 1 year of service opportunity for graduating high school seniors. Known as a Bridge Year program, Global Citizen recruits, trains, supports, and connects the next generation of Americans with innovative, insightful, and effective leadership programs. Travel Television spoke with the founder and force behind this movement, Abby Fallick.
My name is Abby Fallick, and I lead an initiative called Global Citizen Year. Our mission is to re-envision the transition to college for emerging leaders in the U.S. as they come out of high school, providing them with opportunities to spend a year living and working in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. I came upon this mission a good over a decade ago when I finished high school and called the Peace Corps and was looking for something like this. I was ready for an academic break. All I had known was classroom learning, and even though I had really liked school, I was ready to see the world and really ready to get my hands deep involved in issues that I cared about. And I couldn't find an opportunity like what we've now designed with Global Citizen Year, and that frustration stayed with me. So the irony that you can join the military when you're 18, graduating from high school, and many students do, as a way of seeing the world, but you can't join the Peace Corps until after you've finished college, seems ridiculous. And so why can't there be a national, large-scale opportunity for young people to engage as citizen diplomats, global citizen diplomats, working as in civilian service overseas before beginning their college career? Part of the strategy and part of the timing for us is really to encourage young people to have this experience at a very formative developmental moment for them. So we understand a lot about the age group that we work with, and it's an opportunity for them to have an experience that actually transforms their trajectory. So from the time they arrive in college, they have much greater focus on why they're there, what they want to study, more clarity around their own potential as leaders, and just much more intrinsic motivation for finishing college and moving into careers which hopefully over time are very oriented towards social impact and global engagement. So once the students are admitted to the program in the spring as they're graduating from high school, we support them through the process of mobilizing other people in their hometowns to support them financially and to sign on to then follow their blogs and social media during their time overseas. And this is really one of the most powerful ways that we can prepare our young people to share their experiences with their home communities and with others who may not have the opportunity to travel. So every September, the whole Corps, National Corps, comes together in California for a boot camp. It's focused on authentic leadership, social innovation, global development. We take them through workshops, interactive activities, role plays that are really meant to help them develop a context for then understanding their experience overseas. So the experience overseas is 7 months. The first month is an immersive language training, a crash course. We work with leading local universities. It's also an introduction to local culture, history, sociology, opportunity for understanding global development and meeting with local leaders across different sectors. And after that initial orientation, the students move out to smaller communities. They're living in pairs, they live with a family, and they spend their days working as apprentices on local projects. So it may be addressing issues in education. We have students who teach in schools, others who are working on agriculture projects or working to train teachers or professionals to use new and appropriate technologies. All the while they're blogging and reporting back on their experiences through traditional and social media back to that network of supporters that they had mobilized before they traveled. And then when they come back to the U.S., the final month is spent going back home and making presentations in K-12 classrooms and convening local gatherings, placing op-eds, talking to congressional leaders, and really bridging the experience that they've had overseas back to a sense of civic engagement and real social responsibility on the home front, to bring the world back home and to build a movement of young people who understand that a global citizen year before college is an opportunity that's accessible to them, encouraged by colleges and universities, and fundamentally a part of what it means to be educated in the U.S.